New polls from ABC News show that President Biden might be in a, quote, honeymoon period in his presidency, with a majority of Americans supporting his COVID response, mask mandate, rejoining the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Agreement, and reversing Trump's Muslim travel ban. However, this period probably won't last forever, as Democrats face infighting in the Senate where they hold the majority, and that could impede Biden's future legislative plans.
That's right. So joining us to discuss Democratic strategist Colin Rogero and national political reporter at The Hill, Jonathan Easley. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys.
See you.
Absolutely. Colin, let me start with you. So, we're almost a week in now to the Biden plan. He's definitely, he signed some executive orders and more, but there has not been any major legislation on the floor. We don't have a very clear picture of the strategy going in for coronavirus relief, hands down the most popular thing that he could do. We all know the honeymoon doesn't last forever, and all it takes is one thing really to unite the right. So what do you think Biden's best strategy would be in the next coming days in order to shore up and keep his 70% approval rating?
Yeah, well, I think the honeymoon effect is real. And I think you got a good portion of America that is just taking a sigh of relief because they don't have to read hate tweeting, name calling, and, worry about the potential to start a war at any point in time. And so everybody has a little bit of a collective period of relaxation here. I think in any scenario, the best way to keep people's faith and to silence doubters is to go prove that you can do the thing you said you would. And in terms of combating the virus, we should absolutely be considering it. He should be promoting it as having the country on a war footing, and that defeating the virus is the most pro-American thing anyone can do, and then dare Republicans not to follow along with doing that. I think they should also couch a stimulus following that in the same way, that we got to take care of Americans, and we've got to all do it right now to keep this country in the position that it has been historically for the last 100 years or so.
Yeah, Jonathan, pick up on that. One of the pieces we put up there is about how McConnell and Schumer are having trouble coming to this power sharing agreement in the Senate, since the Senate is technically 50-50 split. How do those machinations impact Biden's ability to pass some of the legislation that he's talked about?
Yeah, well, he's going to need some Republicans unless they're going to completely blow up the filibuster. He's going to have to follow through on what he's basically been campaigning on for 2 years, which is this idea that he can unite the country, bring Republicans on board to achieve some of his initiatives. The first thing we're looking at here is the COVID relief package, and I think that's going to be a real test of whether Biden can deliver some of these Republicans. It seems like he's having a little bit of a problem right now, but we do have sort of this emboldened wing of moderates in the Senate that is going to have a big say in anything that passes. But that's going to be his first test of whether he's able to leverage his decades of relationships on the Hill and come up with something that unites members of both parties. And honestly, it seems like it's going to be an uphill climb right now, which is sort of surprising. It's no shock that Biden wanted to get this COVID relief package through as quickly as possible, and it's not even as big as many Democrats want. So, that's going to be a major test for him.
It really is, Jonathan, because what's interesting is that you can see he's got the approval rating. But one of the things we also learned under the Obama administration is it's not like the opposition pays all that much for gridlock. They can return right back. And we saw, Republicans actually won a decent amount of elections, took back the House, took back the Senate, and so much more. So, Colin, what does Biden do? Something Crystal and I've been talking a lot here is why even bother trying to go, for the normal order in the Senate, just pass something through budget reconciliation and put all of your Democrats on the spot. What do you make of that? Because I feel like something has to go through soon, or Biden's, the approval rating is just going to fall dramatically.
Well, I think there are two parts to that answer. I think the first part is, this is what Obama, was guilty of, and the Obama administration people around were guilty of. They thought they had won with such a big mandate that they didn't have to continue communicating like they had been. And I think that the Joe Biden administration needs to constantly be on a press offensive, talking about what they're trying to get done, and again, continually framing it as a patriotic duty to do so. And if they don't do that, then you're going to have all of the, disinformation is starting to fill the information vacuum that will exist because they're not talking enough or doing one press conference a day, which I'm glad are back, but it certainly isn't enough. I think, look, if you've got the budget reconciliation process, you have a nuclear option essentially to get done exactly what you want to get done. So I think you shoot for bipartisanship, shoot for some Republican help and working together on this. And then if you have to, you pass it through budget reconciliation. I think you've got to do something. They put you in office to do something. So go ahead and do it by whatever means. Try to do it the right way, the bipartisan way. And if it doesn't work, then you've got to get something done for the American people and stand on it. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Jonathan, what's your sense of how Democrats are thinking about that? Obviously, Senator Sanders has been out pushing for them to approach this, to go big and do it through budget reconciliation. Others seem more committed to, hey, we got to get something together with 60 votes to go through regular order. What's your sense of where Schumer and Biden are headed?
I mean, I think they will try to get the 10 Republicans or however many it is that they need on board with this initial push, but I can't imagine them dragging this on for weeks or months on end before they just decide to say screw it and move on their own. I mean, this is Biden he's been very clear about what his priorities are, addressing the coronavirus and providing this stimulus package has been his one of his top priorities for a long time now, and it's hard to see with the way that the power dynamics are right now in both the House and the Senate that they wouldn't just, if they feel like Republicans are obstructing this top priority of theirs, I think that they will just move on their own, and it's going to be controversial. There could be a political price to pay, but I think they view it as worth it after making at least an initial attempt at bipartisanship.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that all works out. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Great to see you both.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Coming up, journalist Zed Jelani is going to discuss some alarming new teen suicide statistics around school closures. That's when Rising continues.